used to find networking was such a waste of time. One of my mentors had this really good strategy, and I've been following this as I've been going to my networking events. So she talks about, it's almost like you got to persuade people nowadays, right, to follow up and stay connected. So the first tip is, sort of that, look for commonalities, what we call Me Too moments. And then the other one is, you want to kind of be on the same team. So you might be, maybe you're both mompreneurs, for example. And then the last one is somewhere to be memorable, obviously in a positive way. So I've always got my, funky glasses for one, and then usually I use my storytelling, video, and then my slogan for the other memorable one.
I'm wondering, how should I get some conversations going tonight when I'm meeting some new people?
Oh, good question. There's usually a few conversation starters that I find work really well. I'll ask, so, what are you working on that's exciting? Or I might say, what's trending in your industry right now? Another good one is,
the purpose behind the event that we're doing here is
what's
to
good
kind
to
of
report?
showcase what we're all about, which is business owners helping other business owners. So this is a business-to-business speed networking event. What's going to happen is we're going to be split up into groups. I think it's going to be groups of 4, meaning that you're likely going to be given a number. That's up to Sean. And you're going to be in that room with some other business owners, and you're going to be free to network in the group however you see fit for roughly 15 minutes.
If anybody needs a real testimonial, you're always the first one shouting out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to find a way to be bringing value to the room and to every individual that's there, right? Like if you're going to have some kind of interaction in business, you have to bring value. Like that's the point behind business at all, right? When I'm interacting with somebody, I often find myself listening and I'm like, okay, but I understand what you're saying, but what do you want? What are you trying to get out of it? So I always, again, try to lead by example and say what it is I'm asking for, like straight up, ask for something. Like this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a referral for this person. I'm looking for a mechanic. I'm looking for something. Like, tell people who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for, period. And have them do the same so that you're straightforward, you understand, and you're setting the tone for what you're trying to accomplish by being there. Otherwise, what's the purpose of going here and telling everybody what you do? They're not interested, right? They want to know what it is that you want, what you're looking for.
That's a good one too. So, yeah, like I said, I always resonate with that, be concise and consistent and memorable in some way. So I think you're memorable because you always give the value first.
Thank you. Let's say we're talking to somebody and you introduce me and you're like, this is Michael. He's passionate about what he does. He cares about what he does. He's really good at that. It means something more. And so I think that that's the best way for me to give value to somebody that I've worked with. And all I do is be honest about what they've done for me to benefit me. So again, it's about showing value. And the other thing too is if I promote somebody else's business and say something great about them, they're gonna wanna do business with me and they're gonna value that more too. So it's just one more way of helping other entrepreneurs.
But I always think of how you first talked about it, You're starting out in small business and you have this impression that you have to try and do it all.
Right.
And then you said, how about coming together where you can go down the hall, talk to a marketer or someone who's
Absolutely.
a financial expert.
It's so odd, like in society and in the world, people always want to have families, like belong to something, be on a sports team, anything like that. But when people get into business, all of a sudden they want to isolate themselves and, I can just do it all at my house and shut themselves out from the rest of the world. It's counterintuitive. It doesn't make any sense. If you want to flourish, you need to surround yourself with others because, in a village, everybody else is contributing something. Someone's good with a hammer, someone can cook, someone can hunt, right? And then together you're a community. So that's what Biz Assist is about. It's a community of like-minded entrepreneurs bringing something different to the table in order to help each other succeed. I love learning all the time, and I have no problem figuring out that I've been doing everything wrong if what I'm doing next is going to help me succeed. I'm not interested in being right. I want to succeed and help others succeed.
I love that open-minded. So that's another thing that we have in common. So yeah, like I said, thank you so much for letting us, come here.
Thank you.
And we always feel included here.
Awesome, because it's a community.
So because I do wear multiple hats, I've got the speech pathology background, and my first name, by the way, is Keri. I am now getting people to be more confident on camera and really working with them, not so much like, how you might have your ideas of like, what should I do on camera, but rarely do we think about, what about your viewer? What about your head? What do you really want? And that's what I really help people.
So Chris and I have had conversations before, kind of getting at this. Oh, it'd be so great to do an event together where Chris kind of got people's, minds opening to something new and different. And then, coming in with a video camera to see if increased confidence, would come after being in that, sort of open-minded, I don't want to say hypnotic, but it's more kind of I think it's more of a state where you're more accepting things outside your comfort zone, trying something different. Oh, and here's Chris. So I'm always curious, Chris, have you thought more about how you could help to get people ready for camera with your hypnosis sessions?
Oh yeah, I help quite a few people with public speaking in general, and it always boils down to what they struggle with. Maybe they stammer and they can't figure out what to say, or they just lock up or freeze, or they get anxious, or they start sweating. I've had people who even have blushing problems when they're talking in front of groups, and it's like, okay, what is the issue? What are you struggling with? What is your big obstacle that we need to overcome in order to make you a really effective public speaker, presenter, leader, doing something where you're in front of people doing things, and the sort of thing that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It's like, let's get rid of that.
So I have this vision of, what if it was, go through, I don't know if it's like a treatment or, a session, and then right after, soon afterwards, you put someone on camera. Have you ever tried to see if there's a stronger effect immediately?
I always try to test my work in everything that I do. It's like the smokers are the easiest because they smoke every day. It's like, okay, well, did you smoke? That sort of thing. If what they're struggling with falls into some sort of category where we can test it like that, where, sure, if it is just camera shy, let's bring in a camera and watch, I've had people in my business networking groups where they have trouble getting up and just doing their kind of weekly presentations. Okay, let's have you practice your weekly presentation, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis.
Being, into public speaking, a lot of, myself and a lot of our viewers really want to become more connected, with their viewers. So if we came in with a specific goal, I don't know, would that be something that, our mindset, maybe you could help with?
A specific goal coming to me, you mean?
If I said, well, we want to be, able to connect better with our viewers. And I think, there's something, right? Usually it's vulnerability or letting people see us, with the camera rolling. So that's why I'm wondering if maybe hypnosis might be helpful.
Well, I like to always tell people that 95% of our behavior comes from our subconscious. So if someone is struggling in some area where they feel out of control, I can usually help them.
So do you use it yourself, before networking events, or?
I don't need to use it before networking events. A little history on me, I used to be the world's biggest introvert. My day consisted of working and going home and playing World of Warcraft, and that was about it. This is very much a networking town. I had to grow, I had to develop. I don't have to do self-hypnosis before every event, certainly not. But I definitely practice self-hypnosis, and it's been a big part of my self-development in being more comfortable getting out and talking and networking. As we sit here talking, I'm the president of my BNI chapter here in Calgary. I do street and stage hypnosis where I will perform as part of shows at the BMO Centre. I'm planning to go down to the Eau Claire Market in 2 days for the Canada Day celebrations. I'm able to at least get out there, and no, I don't have to practice every day, but I'm very much a different person than I used to be as a result of this practice, because why would I not use it to develop myself, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're just a wealth of knowledge. Thanks so much, Chris.
Absolutely.
Look forward to more chats, and maybe we'll do something together to
For sure.
help everyone on video.
When you can tell good stories, people will listen longer, they'll care, and they'll remember. And so I'm earn loyal customers. Marketing with Inspiration.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
When are you doing a workshop for me?
Yeah, we'll talk. That would be
My
fun.
name is Shri. I'm with Success to Grow Academy. This is where
I love how your name is so memorable. But you were telling me that there was a story behind Chirp, the Chirp.
Yeah, so when we started Chirp, we wanted something that kind of represented communication because we're a marketing and media firm. So what it really was is, let's talk about it. Let's get into communication. So I was like, well, let's chirp about it. I can make a bird sound myself.
And sometime I want to talk to you about, you're the guy everyone always says, if you need a think outside the box, innovative way to solve something, talk to Richard.
We use thesaurus almost on a daily basis just to say, well, what's another way to say this? Because it's not, we don't want to always say we're doing the same thing as somebody else. How do you stand above somebody else when you're saying you do the exact same thing? And a lot of it has to do with your brand and your name. And not just owning that name, but your voice and how you talk to people. That's all part of your brand, and that's what we try to focus on.
Yeah, I love that. Between the voice and being better ways to communicate can make a huge difference.
We've got to this realm that with the digital space, that traditional branding and loyalty is completely gone. People used to feel connected. They bought a product because they felt loyal to that brand. But we've come to this psychology that loud music triggers us to buy things or spend more money or flashy colors. But loyalty is completely gone. And we want to think outside the box and bring that back. And that's what it's all about, is connect with your audience, build that loyalty, and they'll continue buying from you, regardless of what you do.
So this was the first time I've tried something like this, where, I came out with the 3 tips, trying to be, sort of have those memorable moments together. And that was really great, especially with Michael and I deciding that we want to give value first. And then the next one was being on the same team. With Chris and I, we sort of think we should all be hypnotized and then get on camera. And then the last one was being memorable. Richard had a really good point, the story behind his name, Chirp, that's something that his clients always remember. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think about, having heard the tips, but then watching me, in different networking scenarios? Did that make it, more interesting, or, sort of more of a story so that you were able to follow along? Okay, she actually goes out and does this, it takes a lot of courage. So shout out in the comments below if you thought this was a helpful, style to learn and watch from, and I'll be sure to reply back.